San Quentin Prison, California death row that shocked America. The most notorious death row in America, where the most dangerous men in the country live, breathe, and wait for the final hour. Within these walls, every second can be a fight for survival. Some say the horrors of San Quentin are unimaginable, yet they are very real. What drives a man to survive in a place where death feels only a step away? What unfolds behind these steel doors will shock even the most hardened observer. Before we proceed, kindly like, share, and subscribe to follow the chilling truths inside San Quentin. San Quentin State Prison, established in 1852, is California's oldest prison. Its history is stained with violence, despair, and executions. Originally built to house convicts from the Gold Rush era, it evolved into a symbol of America's struggle with crime and punishment. By the 1930s, it became infamous for housing death row inmates, men condemned to die for the most heinous crimes. Among the countless stories, some inmates became almost legendary. Charles Manson spent his final days here. The infamous Soledad brothers were confined here. But the daily reality is far from legend. It is survival, fear, and strict control. The prison is designed for control. Its walls, gates, and fences are only the beginning. Inside, a hidden hierarchy of power dictates who thrives and who falls. What happens when the rules of survival collide with the law itself? Later, we'll uncover the hidden codes that govern life and death on this row. Life on death row is a routine of monotony, tension, and fear. Inmates are confined to small cells, often no larger than a parking space, for 23 hours a day. The remaining hour is spent in a narrow exercise yard under the watchful eyes of armed guards. Meals arrive through a slot in the door. Bland, repetitive, stripped of dignity. Conversations are rare, measured. Trust is a luxury few can afford. One wrong word can spark a fight that echoes through the block. Survival demands discipline, cunning, and a strict adherence to invisible codes. Veteran inmates often control the informal economy, trading favors, smuggling small items, or negotiating protection. Those who fail to understand these unwritten rules quickly fall prey to intimidation, violence, or isolation. Later, we will meet one inmate whose attempt to challenge the hierarchy nearly ended in disaster. If you see this move and find it interesting, please like and subscribe to uncover even more of the prison's darkest secrets. San Quentin is not just a place of confinement. It is a laboratory of control. Punishments are swift and often harsh. Solitary confinement can stretch for months. The hole, as it is known, isolates prisoners, depriving them of human contact, sunlight, and mental stimulation. It is a psychological tool designed to break the strongest minds. Guards maintain authority through constant surveillance. Cameras, patrols, and random checks create an environment where every move is observed. Even small acts of defiance can escalate. Later, we'll recount one infamous incident where control broke down and chaos erupted across death row. A hidden system governs survival. Respect is earned, not given. Violence is strategic, and alliances are temporary. Some inmates wield more power than guards in certain situations, directing conflicts and controlling resources. Breaking these codes can be deadly. Later, we will explore a chilling story where a new inmate ignored the rules, sparking a chain of events that no one in the prison would forget. *N death row is not only physically confining but psychologically punishing. Inmates wrestle with fear, guilt, anger, and despair daily. Sleep is often broken, dreams invaded by violence, and hope a fragile commodity. Psychologists have studied this environment, noting severe anxiety, depression, and hallucinations as common. Yet, some inmates develop coping mechanisms, rituals, mental exercises, or relationships with certain guards or fellow prisoners. Later, we will meet one prisoner whose mental resilience was both extraordinary and terrifying, surviving longer than most through sheer willpower. At the heart of death row is the execution chamber, a room designed for one purpose: finality. Lethal injection is the standard, yet the psychological weight is immense. Inmates are led here under strict protocol, guard following a ritual of control that leaves no room for error. The waiting is often the cruelest part. Days, months, even years may pass before the final hour arrives. Some men face it with resignation, others with rage, and a few with chilling calm. One inmate's defiance in his final moments sparked controversy, forcing the prison to reconsider procedures. In San Quentin has housed infamous criminals like Charles Manson and Sirhan, men whose notoriety cast long shadows over the prison. But even lesser-known inmates left lasting impressions, shaping culture, alliances, and fate. These stories reveal a larger truth. The environment of San Quentin is a crucible where the limits of human behavior, morality, and survival are constantly tested. Later, we'll explore how some inmates, against all odds, became legends on death row, not for their crimes, but for the sheer will to endure. And before we close, please kindly like, share, and subscribe if you want more gripping stories like this. San Quentin is more than a prison. It is a mirror reflecting the darkest aspects of human nature, law, and morality. Within these walls, life and death intertwine, and every decision carries weight beyond comprehension. The men who survive, who navigate the fear, violence, and isolation, leave behind stories that haunt and instruct. As the gates close each night and the lights dim over death row, one question lingers. How far can humanity stretch when trapped in the shadow of its own fear?